And welcome one and all, to Bilbo and the Piano. I'm here with my regular co-host of Drew.
Hello?
Say hi, Drew.
I did.
Okay. And
Hello?
we are joined by our wonderfully close friend, Logan.
Hello, everybody.
Say
There
hi,
you go.
Logan.
I was told that the show needed someone awkward and unfunny, so that's why I'm here.
Exactly. That's what we bring.
Two awkward and unfunny people just aren't enough.
No,
you really
we need to have a third.
You got to complete the trifecta here, and you're the other piece of the.
It's called the Triforce because the show's gonna be
Triforce, yeah.
Triforced.
There you go.
There we go. Perfect.
Started off on a strong note.
Yes.
This is already great.
Bad puns. Bad puns.
Anyway.
This is what we're
Yeah.
here for. All right.
So, go ahead.
What were we just talking about, Drew?
Yes, we were talking about our good buddy Logan's fantastic driving skills in the big city when neither you or I were fit to drive. And Logan got us from point A to point B, which I believe was the Hilton Anatole or wherever the convention was being held,
Yes.
back to our hotel. Or back to
No.
Jonathan's apartment. I
Yeah,
can't
this
remember
was
which.
this was to Jonathan's apartment because this was our very first ACON.
It was.
It
our
wasn't
very
even
first
at the
convention.
Hilton Anatole. This was back at the shoot. What was it called?
Sheridan.
That's what it was.
It
Back
was
at
the better
Sheridan.
one. Yeah.
Yes, the much. Well, I don't want to say it's not really much larger, but it was better equipped.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't as complicated to get around, first of all,
Yeah.
because there were just 3 floors that were just a square. And the Hilton Anatole, you're going all over the place to different panels and stuff, but that's not the point. We're already deviating.
Yes.
Logan,
the point
I want Logan to describe the way he drove before we rip into him for it. I would like to know your perspective on that.
Well, from what I remember, I was basically driving. Everything was fine. I blacked out a little bit, and then I just remember the scene from like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they're going down the river in the boat. And,
No,
and then all of a sudden we were.
That's
Hey,
my
that's how it
perspective.
felt.
That
And
is
then all of a
that's
sudden
my
we
perspective.
were back at the hotel, so I don't really remember much of it. So
Okay.
Yeah,
so
no, that
here's
was
the-
more my perspective.
Okay, well, because Colton was gone. Colton was basically blackout drunk. I was just slightly drunk, but sober enough to know what was going on. Sober enough to be scared shitless, basically.
Yeah, and
And
crap.
what I remember... What?
My PlayStation 4 made a noise.
Okay. What I remember, Logan, is that when you would see a red light, when you would see a yellow light
He would gun
about
it.
50 yards away, to you, that all of a sudden, in Dallas, when you see a yellow light, it means gun it. Anywhere else, you would have stopped and slowed down, but when you saw a yellow light 50 yards away, you're like, I'm gonna take it! And I'm pretty sure you said it just like that, too.
Yeah,
Well,
and this was like 1 o'clock in the morning where there was no need for
That is
any
well,
kind
that is
of
true. Like,
rush.
The fact that there wasn't as much traffic, I think, made it a little bit more okay.
Yeah, because otherwise we might have died.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I was thinking of the lights in sort of like the daytime PTSD sort of way, and that if you ever hit a red light, you'd be waiting there for 30 minutes because Dallas traffic, and so I was kind of like I had that mentality of I gotta beat it or else we're gonna be here forever.
You just wanted to get it over with as quickly as possible.
Wasn't
also,
that like your
yes,
first time driving in Dallas?
I don't think it was my first time, but I definitely don't drive in Dallas too often.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it was, though, because...
No,
okay.
it wasn't. No, because I've visited some people in Dallas before and
Oh.
I've driven around Dallas before.
Okay, well, looking back on it, it was hilarious because Colton's in the back with his Hulk, big Hulk glove.
No, it wasn't the Hulk glove. It was the
Mega Man
it was
glove.
the Mega Man glove for
The
Raymond.
Mega Man glove,
Yeah, I
and
kept
he
punching-
was... You were punching both of us. I
Yeah.
don't know if you realize that, but Logan's trying to get us home, doing his best. I can't, fault you for it.
Yeah, in
Almost
a
killed us,
car
but
with 3 drunk people, and
Yeah.
having no clue where he
how
was
to get
going.
back or...
And
Yeah, I just want you to know. I want everybody to know that I was being directed by a drunk person. So, and while he
It
wasn't
was- it
super,
was
he wasn't.
Jonathan.
It was Jonathan.
Yeah.
He wasn't super
Right,
drunk.
yeah.
But still, I want people to be like the blind is leading the blind on this one. So at least give me some
Right.
credit.
Yeah.
Right. I just remember never being more scared in my life, even when I was getting driven around by... basically, if you've ever been to New York City, cab drivers in New York City drive exactly like you did that night by default. And because I remember being in the car with you driving, Logan, and thinking this is just like that crazy New York City cab driver that picked us up from our hotel. And we actually asked him, we're like, dude, can you chill out? And he's like, no, you have to drive like this in New York City if you want to get anywhere.
Oh,
and I
man.
guess that kind of goes along with what you were saying, and that if you didn't drive like that, we would have never gotten home. But
We would have gotten home. It would just been a lot slower.
it would have been a lot slower and a lot safer.
I was training to get my little medal that that you need to drive taxis in New York. So I was getting prepared.
There you go.
Yes,
It makes sense.
It was an obstacle course in his mind.
So, if Logan, you have plans to move to Austin, so what you should do, if you do move to Austin, is become an Uber driver there and drive just like that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone would appreciate me pulling up in my PT Cruiser that's got half the paint just scraped off of it. The front end has fallen off, and like it makes like a like sound like.
Yeah, for reference.
Hey everybody, I'm your Uber driver.
Just so you know, my car runs like a shoe.
Yeah, well,
My
I
car
just
looks
love
like
your
a shoe.
description there.
to be a
Have
little
you
bit
know
of a buzzkill, to be an Uber driver and not pay Uber to be an Uber driver, you have to have a 2004 or newer car.
With 4-door.
With 4 doors, yes.
Yeah.
Because
Have either one of
I
you
can't
used
be a...
Uber?
Huh?
Have either one of you actually used Uber before?
No, I have no reason to. I have a very fuel-efficient car, and I'm not going out getting drunk at bars.
I live in Ruston, so no.
Okay, so I used it for the first time just a couple weekends ago at Free Press Summerfest in Houston, the music festival. And we were, the festival was letting out, and we had a hotel like 10 miles in downtown Houston or whatever. And so we decided to use Uber, and I'd never used it before. And it was so incredibly convenient and easy and like ridiculously no issue, no hassle. We got out, and my friend Evan just looked at me and said, "This is witchcraft." Like, this is like witchcraft because it's so simple. And it's
Yeah.
like no wonder the cab drivers are like cab companies are calling it illegal and trying to take legal action against it, saying that they can't do this because they are going out of business quick.
Uber is an amazing invention. I guess I could say, because I mean, you can just sign up to be an Uber driver. You don't have to have any kind of like taxi license or anything. There's only a few requirements that you have to meet, such as 2004 newer car, at least 4 doors, and being able to sit 4 people plus the driver. And that's really about it. And of course, have a clean driving record and things like that.
And I think that lack of, however you put it, you don't have to pass tests or anything like that, or not that, but you don't have to become like a registered cab driver or something. That's what they're attacking on a legal basis.
And it's reasonably priced.
All you do is type in where you are and type in where you want to go, and it picks up where you are. And it shows you your Uber driver. It automatically locates the closest one to you, and that Uber driver gets a notification. And then you see their little car on the map, and you can watch them come to you. So you know exactly. Nifty. And it also shows you the picture of your Uber driver before they get there.
Yeah.
So you know who it is. So you know it's the right guy.
Or girl.
Yeah, well, all 3 times it was just 3 guys, but all 3 times that we used it.
Well, I say that because when I worked at the hotel up here, there was a guy who would use Uber like 5 times a day, and he would always come back in the middle of the night, like hardcore drunk. But he would come in at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and then go back out at like 2 a.m., come back at like 4 a.m., and a few times he would, call me up and be like, "Hey man, look at this hot Uber driver I got."
I thought you were going to say that he kept ordering Ubers to meet women, just on the
he did that too.
His driver would be a woman.
Oh no, he
like a
he
lot
didn't.
of wasted effort and money.
No, he ordered Uber so he could go to the bar and get trashed and come back to the hotel. But he would always be on the lookout. Okay. He was a weird dude.
Yeah, that does sound a little weird, but the cool thing about it is, soon as you exit the car and say, my trip has been completed, it forces you to rate your Uber driver. At least I couldn't find an option to avoid it. Yeah, it actually makes you rate your driver 1 to 5 stars, and our third driver was like 4.6 stars, and the other two we had gotten previously were straight 5-star average. We're like, well, I wonder what's wrong with this dude, and he called us because they have the ability to call you once you connect with them, and he was like, I can't find you guys. Where are you standing? Which is bullshit because it picks out exactly where you are with GPS. It shows on his map and yours where you are.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's probably why he doesn't have a full 5 stars, because we're clearly right here on the edge of the corner, and he had gone like in the parking lot of wherever we were close by of.
Because he was slightly dumb and not looking at his map.
Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of awkward too because, again, I'm just going off of the experience of the 3 that I took, but they don't really talk to you. And
well, it's like any cab driver.
I know. It's just weird because I'm sitting up at the front because it's my account and I was the one, like, I'm the one who ordered it. And I tried to kind of talk to him, but he was just a little, eh. But then I was thinking...
Of course, it depends on your driver.
Yeah, I mean, he was cool. He was very polite, but I just felt awkward taking this 15-minute drive with a stranger.
Well, that's why you talk with everyone else.
Yeah, I know. It was late. We were
Talk with Grady and Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Good buddy Jesus.
Yes.
He's the one who said that it was like witchcraft.
Jesus, there we go. That's something the cab companies can use.
Yeah.
Jesus said Uber was witchcraft.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Where'd Logan go?
I don't know. Logan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, let's move on.
I've never had an Uber experience, so I didn't feel like I had much to add to that.
Yeah.
That's all good, man. Let's talk about the new Legend of Zelda then. That was something on our docket.
What about fat people around the world? That's like the first thing on there. What are we going to do about that?
Oh, okay. You know what? We'll let you decide. What do you want to talk about first? Fat people around the world or Legend of Zelda, or fat people around the world who happen to play Legend of Zelda?
No.
So all of them.
That's...
all Zelda fans.
Well, hey, Logan. Oh,
hey, he's talking about us too. He's not just talking about you.
I'm not
You
fat.
just happen to have a
fluffy.
tattoo of it. You just happen to have a Hyrulean tattoo on your arm.
Yes.
So you took it a step further than us, and maybe that's why you took it more personal.
Yes, and I do want some Legend of Zelda shoes.
There you go.
But okay, all right. We're gonna start with fat people around the world. And screw your political correctness of obese or overweight.
How did we start talking about this? We decided on this topic last night.
All right.
And it was because what did I bring up?
We were on a discussion of a certain person's unhealthiness.
Right. Yeah.
You're talking about me, right?
No, it literally wasn't you. I promise.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I mean, I know I have a goblin body, but come on, man.
No, we did mention you later, but you did not spurn us.
Oh, you assholes.
No, you were only briefly mentioned, like when a rap.
Being briefly mentioned when you're talking about fat people around the world, that still feels like shit. Okay.
Logan, listen. Listen to me,
out of all
Logan.
the fat people in the world, let's briefly mention Logan. Okay, that's a lot of people to go
you're
with.
only a little fat. If you were super fat, you would have been mentioned a lot more. It's like when a rapper only has like 4 lines in an otherwise long rap song, and they're still featured, but no one cares.
Just like you're still calling Logan fat.
Just imagine being in a concert that's just filled with people, and the guys on stage, and it's just nothing but fat people. It's just the world's fattest people were in that stadium.
Oh god.
He's like, man, you fat, and then I'm like way in the back, and I'm like weighing 190 pounds, and he points at me. He's like, you're a little fat. Like, imagine that being pointed out.
Wouldn't you feel better than everyone else there though?
No,
you're the most in shape person at that concert, Logan.
Still though, what concert is this? Meatloaf?
You're the one who brought up the scenario. You tell me.
Well, I don't know.
Meatloaf collapsed on stage last week. Actually, he got rushed to the hospital like 3 songs in.
I think it was like a heat stroke or like lack of water or something like that.
You might want to define, something like that. But you might want to define what a goblin body is. I don't think you could just say that.
Okay, a goblin body is whenever you have like a paunchy beer belly, and then the rest of you is like lanky and skinny and long and stuff like that. So you basically look like a Lord of the Rings goblin or something like that.
The limbs specifically.
Yeah, like
skinny, and your stomach is pudgy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. See, that's not that bad. I mean, you're not fat. That's why I said we only mentioned you briefly. Fat. Like, anyway. Regardless, let's move on to.
Anyways, the reason we got
our discussion
actual fat people apparently.
Not just fat people in this call, but fat people around the world.
All right, so the reason we got on the topic of fat people around the world is number one, we were talking about a certain unhealthy person that we won't make mention of due to Drew.
For reasons.
For reasons. And I just happen to be on a current diet right now. And so I'm thinking of healthy foods and things. And I stray away from pastas and breads and such. And we were talking about wholesome foods. And Drew thought wholesome meant healthy.
Right. I didn't know wholesome. I thought it was synonymous with healthy. I thought if a food was wholesome, it was healthy and vice versa.
No, man.
And I was quickly given a 5-minute explanation about what wholesome actually means.
Yeah. Wholesome is more like nutritious or, nourishing. Like, a giant bowl of beef and potato stew is wholesome. Not necessarily healthy, but it's wholesome.
So
it fills you up.
Kind of like, filling. Is that like a synonym for it?
Filling, I think, is what we're getting at.
And so I got on the topic of saying, a lot of Italian foods are wholesome because they're very filling. They're very nourishing. They make you feel hearty.
Hey,
and ready for a full day's of work.
I can talk about this.
All right.
That's right, you can, because you're like 148th Italian or something.
164th.
I will chime in 1/4 into this conversation.
No, 164th.
Logan, every time I make that joke, I make the fraction a little bit smaller.
Or 1/100th Italian.
I think I started by saying you're 1/8 Italian, and now it's down to like 164th. That's cool.
Hey, we're talking about the food that my mama used to make. Mwah, capiche.
There you go. Okay, Logan, then answer this. If Italian cuisine is mostly based in pasta, breads, and grains and all that, would you think that they're like, where do you think they rank on the world obesity, world overweight ranking? Like, if you had to guess. Because that's what we were concerned with.
I'd say they'd be somewhere in the middle-ish area. I don't think they would be too high or too low.
Okay.
All right. So you're partially correct, depending on what year we're looking at. The last listing I looked at was based in 2012, and Italy actually ranked about 20th out of 40 of the countries that
That's like spot on then. That's like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
yeah, it was
I'm
like
good.
25th or something like that. But
I know the fatness of my people.
It was a little on the lower down scale. However, number one is still the United States.
Mm-hmm. I thought Mexico has had us beat by now.
Nope, Mexico is still number 2. But like I said, this was
That's
in 2012.
I'm pretty sure Mexico has us beat now.
Yeah. So
it only took them 4 years.
Yeah, Mexico could have us beat by obesity.
See, my concern or why I wondered about the Italians is because Europeans are typically portrayed as fit and thin and healthier than us. So
Fabio.
Italy's part of
Schwarzenegger.
Italy's part of Europe, but they also just eat a whole lot of pasta. So I was like, I wonder where they fit.
It's not all pasta though.
I know.
So
I'm being a little stereotypical, but
yeah, it's very stereotypical, Drew.
Yeah, I don't know much about
stereotypical Drew. No, there's a lot of like regular foods that don't contain pastas. Yes, there are regular pastas, which are, years and years old recipes and things like that.
I think in general they also live in like villages and areas where they walk everywhere. They don't drive as much.
That's true.
And they'll basically, I know instead of like Americans will buy like enough groceries to last us like a few weeks, and then we go to the store again. They'll go like every single day usually, and just pick up a few groceries to make fresh dinner and fresh food every time.
I wish I could do that.
It would be nice, but I mean that's what people in New York City do as well. Like if you live in a
but there's like a market, less than a block away, or 2 blocks away, rather than I live in Plano, and given that my closest market, a la the Walmart, is half a mile down the road, or maybe a mile, I don't know, somewhere between half a mile and a mile. I mean, it can take me 15 minutes to drive down there, go get all my groceries, check out, and come back home.
Right.
It's that part's nice, but I can't just walk down a couple blocks and be like, I'll check out this market, and they don't have everything I need, so I'll head out over to the butcher across the street, and then the baker down the two doors down, and stuff like that.
If you walked into a butcher shop and the butcher was not quite large, would you trust the meat?
I don't know. Well, it depends.
It's kind of similar.
If he was like super skinny,
yeah,
like a twig, I don't know.
Like
but
you wouldn't
if
get
he
a
was
tattoo from a tattoo artist with no tattoos.
What would you do if the butcher had a goblin body?
I was actually about to say that.
That's what I didn't want to say it.
If he had a goblin body, I would trust him.
I'd be like, I demand a free sample to taste this first.
I could see Colton being a butcher actually.
I actually wanted to be a butcher
like
for a little bit.
Wearing his little cabbie hat and with the apron and stuff like that. Come in and be like,
God, it would work, wouldn't it?
Like, hey, you want some fresh brisket? Of course, you'd have to change your accent, Colton, if you were gonna be a butcher.
You would have to.
What? Yes. Would I have to take on a Brooklyn accent?
Yeah, you would have to take on a Brooklyn accent.
As best as
you want some meat? You want some meat? You want this meat? I don't think you can handle this meat.
Just like my mama's pasta bazool.
How would you respond to that?
All right,
how would
weirdo
you respond
Italian.
How would you respond to a butcher saying, "I don't think you can handle this meat"? How do you even react to that?
I would look him dead in the eye.
To establish dominance. Right.
I would lean in.
Start jacking him off a little bit to establish dominance.
Logan just jumped right into it.
Well, Logan.
Well, I mean, you guys are pussyfooting around. I'm trying to get to the heart of the matter.
That is not what I was going to get at. I was just going to suggest, like, grabbing all the meat and shoving it in your mouth at the same time as you're staring at them and being like, I can handle it.
And that's less gay than what I said.
I would just look him square in the eye.
Yeah.
I would lean in slightly, and I would just say, "Try me." And that would.
And then he would take you.
And then he would blow me.
He would bend you over the counter, and then he'd try you.
No.
And
He would
maybe.
get yeah. Logan likes to get bent over the butcher's table.
You'd be like a free sample at the Walmart.
I've never thought of butchers in this context before.
That's a new euphemism. Logan likes getting bent over the butcher's table.
It's a very sexual job. It's like third.
Clearly.
It's like third in the most sexual jobs in the world. Like first is the porn industry, and then second is like being an Olympic athlete, and then third is a butcher.
I was actually expecting second was going to be Italian.
Italian isn't that's not a profession.
According to you, it is.
It might as well be. With as much as you talk about it, it might as well be a profession. Anyway, fat people.
Anyway. No, I mean that's about as much as because most of the rest of it was looking down the list.
There was a surprise at the end or the beginning though. There was like one country that were like that doesn't make any sense. I seem to remember.
I have no clue. I know Greece is like number 3.
That may have been it.
But that makes sense too. You ever met a Greek?
No.
You ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. It has fat in the title. That's
yeah,
how you know.
Exactly.
Fair enough. My big goblin body wedding.
Well, nowadays with all the terrible political correctness, it would be my big obese Greek wedding.
I think obese is a bad word too now.
No, it would
Most
be
political correctness is bad.
It would be my healthy at every size Greek family.
No. What's the other thing? Like
plus size beauty. I don't know.
No.
I'm not sure what you're.
It's like the opposite of fat shaming. It's something acceptance, bodily acceptance.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. Close enough to Logan's. Right. Acceptable at every level. Anyway,
acceptable at every goblin.
Yes. No, man, fuck political correctness.
Well, we'll definitely have to see how many times we say the word goblin at the end of this.
Have a goblin jar where you put a quarter in every time.
Can't say any more goblin. You have to put a quarter in the goblin jar.
All right, Logan. What is the political correct term for goblin body?
Let's see.
Little green man figure.
I don't know because you're calling them little. Of course, then again, the politically correct term for midget is little person, and I think that's
Tyrion Lannister.
Okay,
Peter
I accept
Peter
dwarf.
Peter Dinklage calls himself a dwarf. Like, that's what he would prefer people to call him.
I accept dwarf. I accept midget. Like, what's so derogatory about midget? I think little people is
it
more
just
derogatory.
It sounds, it sounds harsh.
Oh, what was this? There was this comedian I was watching. Golly, John Mulaney. John Mulaney.
Yeah, John Mulaney's fantastic.
He was talking about when he was doing some writing for a show, and he wanted to use the word midget, and he was, and the whoever was above him, director, was like, no, you can't use midget on television. That's offensive. And he was like, what? How is that offensive? It's the word midget. Midgets love midgets. And stuff like that. And he's like, no, midget is just as bad as the N-word.
As the N-word, yeah.
He's like, no. Because, for one, you're saying midget.
Yeah.
What was
that?
Other,
you are using a letter to describe the word.
I think that's also something Dave Chappelle touched on as well.
Probably.
What was that show that where the midgets were like focused on their family? It was like a TLC reality
Big
TV
people,
show.
Little World.
Big people, little world.
No, big world, little people. Little people, big world.
Little people, big world. I think
like
that's when people started to kind of like get the awareness around. Is like, oh, well, should we call them midgets or should we call them little people or which? I feel like nobody cared before that show came on.
I guess so. But like little people is just so you're calling them a lesser person. You're calling them a little person.
They're not lesser. They're littler.
It's all dependent on how they interpret it, I think. And if they accept it as a group, then I guess there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just reminds me of like African American. All right, so I don't call myself European American. I don't even call myself Native American, because I am both. But yeah, I do the Logan Italian thing with my Native American blood.
I need to find out what my heritage is so I can pull this card more often.
I actually know my full heritage.
Because I have no idea what I am.
It's a list about 10 things long. And I actually had this discussion with my mother about, what's my heritage, what's my ethnicity, blah, 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 things like that. And I really don't have one, so I actually claim Cajun and Mexican, because that's how I grew up.
I secretly just hope that I'm like full Norwegian and don't know it.
I think Drew's got like a lot of Alaskan in him. I think he's like an Eskimo.
Is that a heritage? Oh, I guess Eskimo.
There's another political correctness thing. Well, I guess it's not so much
70% Eskimo, Drew.
It's not so much a political correctness as it is the Eskimos don't like you calling them Eskimos.
Oh, they're like Inuit or something like that?
Yeah, apparently Eskimo is a derogatory term, which living here in the South and not having any contact with them, I had no clue.
I think how it works is that what's it called? A group will refer to another group as by a word or whatever, and that'll be okay for a while. But then after a while, that group will start to feel like that word is being only used by other people, and so it doesn't feel like something that rightly represents them.
Kind of like the Washington Redskins.
And so eventually they'll be like, okay, start calling us this word. This is a better word to call us or whatever. And then over time, that word will become a bad word that you don't want to say anymore. And then they'll come up with a new word, and I think it just keeps going essentially.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, but I don't know what I was saying earlier. African American is a very dumb term because number one, anyone who can call themselves African American is one of three things: either they were born in Africa and moved to America, like my friend who's from Kenya that I used to work with. He can call himself African American because he moved from Africa to the U.S. and gained U.S. citizenship. Therefore, he is African American. His kids can call themselves African Americans because their parents were from Africa. And then his kids' kids can call themselves African Americans because there's still a living, generation that was from Africa that you can pass down the heritage through. After that, no. You just got to call yourself American because you're 3 generations in and you are officially an American. So that's that. But the main reason I bring up the African American bit is, well, actually 2 reasons. Number one, there was a white girl from South Africa who got her who applied for the African American scholarship thing and got denied and took it to court because she was actually African American.
Did she win?
Yeah, I think she won at some point, but it got revoked later on because black people.
It's just been revoked.
That wasn't racist. That
no,
terrible.
I think the funniest one is what's it called? How the difference between calling someone a colored person, like they don't like colored people. That's racist. But the political correct term is people of color. Mm-hmm. So they don't like colored people, but they do like people of color.
I mean, technically, we're all colored people.
It sounds better, though.
I mean, but it's still just rearranging the words.
It does, but...
It's basically making, I guess, going from active voice to passive voice. There you go, Drew. That's some English terminology there for you.
I'm just going to assume you're correct there.
well, you're basically saying they did something versus they are doing something.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I know. This isn't a verb or anything
Logan
like that.
Dropping the, English knowledge here.
I see the point you're trying to make.
I just think it's a very minor difference that will basically mean the difference between you being a racist bigot or you being like the most progressive liberal, this person is a friend to black people.
Yeah, or an entitled
or I guess
person
any person of color, I guess. Any other minority.
Yeah, because technically person of color is anyone non-white.
Yeah.
Which baffles me, because white is still a color. So, I mean, aren't we all people of color?
Isn't white the absence of color, though?
No. Black is the absence of
dark
light.
Is the absence of light. Right.
Yeah. No.
I was thinking more scientifically.
Black is not technically a color. Black is the absence of all color. White is actually the combination of all colors in the spectrum. Science!
Yes.
Anyways, the other reason I bring up the whole African American thing is because there was an ambassador that came over from, I think, like Nigeria or something, and on the news, on Fox News, who you would expect to pull this kind of stunt, they called him African American because he was black. Mm-hmm. When he was just straight African. And specifically Nigerian.
Yeah.
But that's what political correctness turns it into, and he got all up in arms about it. He was very insulted by being called African American.
You say political correctness leads to mislabels.
Yes, it
or
does.
mislabeling. Yeah,
yes.
That makes sense.
And I mean, there are many other things like the whole gay community travesty thing going on now. And I don't know if you saw that post on Reddit about calling Harley Davidson riders fags. The South Park episode.
South Park, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good episode. It's a really good episode.
Because, I'm gay, am I a fag? And do you ride a Harley through the neighborhood,
making all that noise
making
everywhere?
all that unreasonable noise? It's like, no, then you're not a fag.
Yeah, that's a really good episode.
Yeah.
I think for a week after that, me and Logan were trying to do the the voices they would do, because they just be in the episode, the Harley riders would just go into the bathroom and they'd get in go to a stall in between two other guys, and he would just look at them and go at both of them back to back, here I am. I'm here. I ride a Harley.
South Park, the most intelligently written show on TV, in my opinion.
I'm actually considering getting a motorcycle.
Oh, I've been considering getting a motorcycle for forever, but
I'm completely serious, too.
The first thing I'm going to get is a scooter.
I'd just get a straight motorcycle. I mean, just skip all the scooters.
Drew, if you ever get a motorcycle, please let me know when you first get on it, because I want to watch it take you 30 minutes to get onto it and balance yourself.
What? I'm
watch it fall to the side.
I want to be there when that happens.
I like to think if you can ride a bike, you can ride a motorcycle. It's the same concept.
Okay,
balance,
except
right?
A bike is 20 pounds and a motorcycle is going to be 400 to 600 pounds.
I don't know. I think I could do it.
I'm just saying.
Most country accent you had. I don't know. I think I can do it.
Hold my beer.
Look, all I'm saying is I would... Look, if I had a motorcycle, think about this. If you have a motorcycle, you will never be denied a parking spot. You'll never not have a place to park, because there's a motorcycle parking everywhere.
No, there's not motorcycle parking everywhere.
Well, I'm thinking on campus.
Make their own parking.
I'm thinking on campus.
Yeah, on campus, yeah. But you're only going to be on campus for another 6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
What you'll end up doing is pissing everybody off, because you'll park your motorcycle too far in, and so they'll be like, oh, hey, a parking spot, and then they'll go and they're like, oh, damn, it's a motorcycle.
There was that one tiny little car that did that every single day outside of
I appreciate any motorcyclist who actually parks their motorcycle at the front of the parking spot. Well, like, furthest away from the curb. And so that you can actually see it before you try and pull in and get all excited.
Yeah.
Also, I hate those really short cars that pull up all the way.
That's what we were just talking about. There's a car on Tech Campus that does that in one of the most popular student parking lots, and they always pull up as far as possible, and they only take up about half the spot. So you're driving through.
By the new business building or the engineering building, whatever.
No, the parking lot across from the memorial gym.
Oh, that one.
That one, yeah, that one.
Golly.
So that's all.
The GTM parking lot.
Well, sort. It's more or less close to that, yeah. But there's always.
It is literally right in front of the GTM parking or GTM.
Well, no,
building.
we're not thinking of the right one then, because that's
the one by the cafeteria.
That's
not all faculty.
Ladies, please, no one knows what the hell we're talking about.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. The one right across from the Tonk.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Whew.
Anyway,
it's been like 3 years since I've been to Tech.
All I know is every time I'd go into that lot, it would look like there'd be one spot, and I'm like, yes, success, good luck. And then it was that tiny little car, just pulled up all the way. I'm like, that should not be legal.
Jerks. Yeah. Tech parking was terrible.
I feel like it's gotten a little bit better somehow, but I may just know other places to park, like alternate.
Yeah. Well, instead of them tearing down old buildings and building brand new versions of them that weren't even detrimental, they just needed to build a multi-tier parking lot somewhere.
There's talks of putting a parking garage in, but...
Dude, there's been talks of putting a parking garage in since my freshman year.
I know, I'll believe it when I see it. But it would be nice.
That's so far been 6 years.
Yep.
I'm old. Actually, no, it's been 8 years.
It
has been 8 years since my freshman year of college.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And here we are.
Yes.
Just do you wake up and the Your Old song from SpongeBob plays? Like Mr. Krabs wakes up and he's like, "You got multiple chins galore, 'cause you're old."
You're old.
I was actually watching SpongeBob the other day because it's on Hulu Plus.
Man, they just have the new stuff on Hulu Plus. They don't have the old episodes.
Not on my Hulu Plus.
Whoa. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Did they have literally all the episodes?
Yeah, I was watching the very first season. First episode, whenever SpongeBob gets to go to... Oh, never mind. That may have been on Amazon.
Are they on Amazon?
On Amazon Prime, yeah.
I got Amazon Prime. I've been looking for the old episodes because SpongeBob after 2006 was shit.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 seasons had that one writer dude, and after the first SpongeBob movie, which he was still on for, he left.
Yeah, the creator. He went off to make what's it called? He went off to make a Flapjack.
Oh gosh, I hated the Misadventures of Flapjack. Did you like the Misadventures of Flapjack?
Not really.
I know you loved Chowder.
I did like Chowder.
Logan watched a lot of Chowder.
I did.
Don't even know what that is.
Really, Drew?
Like I should, though. Yeah.
Really? Like you had TV at this point?
What is? I've never even heard.
Drew, how can you say as an adult male that you have not watched children's cartoons?
I don't know what Chowder is.
This was when y'all were like 14.
How dare you?
Or 13.
Was it a Nicktoon?
Yeah.
No.
Chowder was on Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network.
Oh, I never watched Cartoon Network. I was anti-Cartoon Network.
Oh, you blasphemer.
I don't know why.
How can you be anti-Cartoon Network? Cartoon Network still had the best cartoons.
I didn't have any
Jack.
I didn't have any reason to hate Cartoon Network. I just watched Nickelodeon more often.
I mean, you could watch both.
Yeah,
I just chose to watch Nickelodeon.
Weirdo.
You had this weird Nintendo fanboyism about you even back then, but only with Nickelodeon.
It's pretty true, actually. That's kind of how I live my life in general.
Yeah. Speaking of that Nintendo fanboyism, Drew finally got himself a 3DS not too long back.
I thought you were going to segue this into the new Legend of Zelda, which is actually on our docket, but you disappointed me once again.
No, we can do that because I've got nothing to say about the 3DS, really. I mean, I got a couple games for it and haven't played it since. So.
Well, I was going to mention because you got Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Pokemon X or Y? Which one?
I got X.
And I was saying get Pokemon Black or White because those games actually made me feel like back when I first played Red and Blue. because it was just an entire new world, no throwback to anything, an entirely new set of Pokemon until the very end.
They had the best what's it called, Team Rocket style music. It was like Team Plasma, I think.
Yeah.
What was their evil plot? Like every team has a plot to change the world fundamentally.
In Black and White, your villain was In, the letter N. He had long flowing green hair.
Like M on James Bond?
Yes, but N, like no.
Yeah.
Or no.
Right.
Don't touch me there. This is my no square. But his idea was to free all Pokemon because Pokemon were slaves of the human race.
Okay, so basically a SJW, social justice warrior.
Yes.
But I think you talk to him and he ends up becoming like, it's like, maybe my ideas are a little extreme, and then like his handler is like, get back to your room or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll start taking over now.
He was just a very sheltered little boy who didn't get to live the outside life, and so he was more of the puppet.
Yeah.
And he becomes good, quote unquote, later on in the game. Spoiler alert!
Manipulated by the PETA priest.
Yes. Oh gosh, I hope nobody is too offended that listens to this.
Oh, anybody who's offended by me making fun of PETA can just eat a dick.
Wait,
PETA is awful.
This is the point in the conversation where you say, "I hope people are not offended by this."
We're making fun of PETA.
I'm just thinking on everything. Like after everything Logan says, I have to be like,
PETA, we're sorry.
How many people can get offended by this?
That was the tamest thing he has said so far, or any of us have said. Not just Logan.
I don't know why it sparked it, but it just did.
I'm gonna get like a knock on my door.
At first. I was thinking like pita bread, and I was like, "What is pita bread?"
Oh, I was thinking like pedo priest, like pedophile.
Oh, no. So neither one of us knew what you were saying, Logan.
I'm not British. I didn't say pedo. I say pedo.
There you go.
So PETA isn't,
That is how they say
pita bread?
on the IT crowd. They say pedophile.
Yeah, no, because there's a joke
on IT crowd. Yeah. What was that episode about? Something about
a guy whose name was Peter File.
Oh, his name was Peter File, like his first name Peter, last name
Jen's new boyfriend.
And she was having a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's Peter File, not pedophile.
Yes. Man, everyone listening should watch all episodes of the IT Crowd. Realistically, you can do it all in one day because there's only 24 episodes total.
Realistically, and it's like, 20 minutes long each episode, so it'll take you about, I don't know,
5 or 6 hours, something like that.
Yeah, I can't do the math on that.
Anyway, going back to Pokemon, I'm glad we brought this up because I wanted to mention, as I told you before, my perception of Pokemon now versus when I was a kid. Because I've tried playing Pokemon since I've quote-unquote grown up, and I've found that I get apathetic at least, at the most halfway through the game, but usually sooner, because I don't like, basically, unless I'm not doing it right, I feel like I have to grind out to keep them even, and maybe that's just me being... What?
You've always had to do that, even in Red and Blue.
I know, that's
what I'm
remember
grinding so much.
Because I recently bought Yellow on the Virtual Console for 3DS, and I started it, and I got to LT Surge. I think I got the 3rd badge, and then
LT Surge. Really?
I'm like
really?
Lieutenant
Drew?
Surge, whatever. That's how I've always said it. I know.
LT Surge.
Anyway, that's
you and
how
Chasm.
Sounds like a Mountain Dew or something.
It's been in my brain. It does sound like Mountain Dew, actually.
Mountain Dew LT Surge.
Well, I mean, there was the drink Surge that shrunk your balls.
I realized that if I wanted to keep playing, I would have to go in the tall grass and grind out 4 or 5 levels just to stay current with the trainers that would be on the next route. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not fun. And then I was thinking, did I do that when I was playing Gold and Silver as a little kid and just didn't care?
You would have had to.
Because, I completely cleared Pokemon Gold with a full team of I got most of them up to level 80 or 85.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking back then, I wasn't registering how much time I spent playing it, but I must have grinded like crazy to get them up that high.
Also,
and that's not fun now to me.
In Red and Blue and Yellow, it took a lot longer to level your Pokemon because
you also
there was
didn't
no
have an
experience share. Yeah, you didn't have an experience bar, there was no experience share, and it actually took a little more experience per level.
The lack of an experience bar to show you how much longer you have until the next level is what made me say, you know what, I'm done playing yellow.
Yeah, that's why I dropped playing red. I was like, man, I'm so spoiled now.
Stupid. That's not a matter of being spoiled. That's just common sense.
It's spoiled.
No, that's common sense. There should be a damn experience bar.
There were limitations back in 1996, Drew.
If they could make the rest of that game the way it was, they could have added an experience bar.
They did. That was fire red and leaf green.
Okay, fair enough. But I did start, and that's the reason I stopped playing X. I think I got like 2 badges deep into that. And again, even though we had an experience share, I'm like, I just want to play through the story. I just want to, rely solely on the experience from trainers and gym battles and Team Rocket encounters and all that. But you can't. At some point, you have to just devote a couple hours at least to grinding, here and there, and I just don't care enough to do that.
Kids these
and it makes
days
me sad.
Not wanting to work for their games.
I guess it just makes me sad that you can't just play through the story normally.
Well, it's just what's it called? Back then you were younger. When you're a kid, you have an excess of time, so wasting time on grinding doesn't make that big a deal. When you're older, you have very little time, and so you don't want to feel like you're wasting it.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's why I don't play a lot of my JRPGs right now, because I don't really have time, even though I have loads of time right now.
Another little fun fact, I played my entire gold file with the time screwed up. When I first got the game, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just put in a random time. So for the entirety of me playing gold, I would be playing it during the day, but it'd be nighttime in the game, and I never figured out how to switch it over.
I switched it over. Well, you'd have to start it a new game.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you can in-game, so... Yeah. I would always, most of my Pokemon were Pokemon you could only catch at night because I'd be playing during the day, but the clock was screwed up, and just me being stupid, not knowing how to play video games.
I did it on purpose because my mom gave me such a really stupid early curfew, so I could never catch night Pokemon.
But Mom, I need to stay up so I can get a Hoot.
Yeah. So I offset it by like 8 hours or 6 hours.
That's funny because for me, when I was a kid, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh used to come on at like 9 o'clock at night or something like that, or 8 or 9, and my mom always wanted me to go to bed at like 7. And I was just like, it's like, Mom, let me sit just a little bit longer. I gotta watch Yu-Gi-Oh. He's about to win the duel, and it was like 4 more episodes later. It's like he's about to win the duel.
The duel.
So wait, Yu-Gi-Oh operated in the same kind of powering up for 5 episodes, just like DBZ.
It did, except for it was like I finally got you where I want you, Kaiba, and it's just like, haha, Yuki. What you don't know is I have a trap card, and that trap card would always prevent anything from happening.
I play my Pot of Greed. It allows me to draw 2 cards.
Oh God, this is Pot of Greed. It allows me to draw 2 cards.
Did you see that video?
What does Pot of Greed do? Oh, it allows him to draw 2 cards.
Every single time they played Pot of Greed, they had to tell us exactly what it did.
That was another thing that slowed down the show a lot. And them explaining every card and what it did and stuff like that. And I know that was important to know, but sometimes they took a little too long to explain cards.
Yeah. Logan, I don't know if you remember this, but to your credit, you tried really, really hard to get me into Yu-Gi-Oh when we were in like 6th grade.
I wanted somebody to play with, damn it.
You tried so hard, and I feel bad now, because you really put in the effort to force me to like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was staunch enough to say no.
It seems like in our childhood, the things I remember the most trying to get you to do were trying to get you to play Yu-Gi-Oh, trying to convince you that the Jak and Daxter strategy guide was hilarious, and trying to get you to play my Sonic game for the Game Boy Advance or whatever.
Oh, but I did do that. I eventually started playing that.
Yeah.
So much
what about you forcing him to play Wind Waker?
Oh, that's right. We were going to talk.
I didn't have Wind Waker as a kid, actually.
No, Logan. I actually brought this up before you joined us in the chat. I want you to talk about when you made me play through all of Wind Waker like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was. Do you remember that? Like you'd come over after classes or after work every day, and we'd play a little bit.
And I'd have to dress up like a Catholic nun and like have a ruler and shit. And like anytime you looked away from the TV, I'd have to like slap you on the wrist.
If you had done that, it would have been a lot more entertaining. Yeah. Although I did enjoy the game quite a bit. I just remember you basically saying, "Okay, Drew," it was like out of the blue one day. You're like, "The fact that you have not played Wind Waker is a travesty, and starting tomorrow, we're gonna play through the whole thing." And you came over and you're like, "Put that bitch in that system," and we started playing it, and I liked it. I did, but you took over during the end of the game when you just sail around and collect whatever you collect in the ocean.
The Triforce pieces.
and there's like 24 pieces or something. I can't remember. There's a lot. There's too many. And the whirlwind things where you fight the sea dragon was pissing me off, so you would take over for that. But for the vast majority of the game, I played it on my own.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of myself. I did. Like the dungeons were fun. That's the thing about Zelda. I like the dungeons, but everything else, like getting to and from the dungeons.
Yeah, it's exploration.
Yeah,
it's an adventure puzzle game.
You gotta love
literally what The Legend of Zelda is.
You gotta love exploration to like the Wind Waker, because there's a lot of like going off to like random islands, and the islands have like a little secret about them and stuff like that.
Every Legend of Zelda, you have to love exploration, or else you are not going to get through that game, because you got to find all the items. A lot of the items you need to get through the game, and some of them are offshoots that are hinted at, but not necessarily. They never tell you, hey, go here and get this. No, there's hints like, oh, this thief stole something from me, blah, blah, blah. And they don't say, oh, would you get it back? No, they just end it, oh, that stupid thief.
Man, you want an obscure quest, play Majora's Mask. That's like some, like, you got to be here at the exact time of day, and then you got to do the right thing, and then you got to go over another time of day.
Kaifa's Quest.
Like, I had to have a guide to do some like Kaifa's Quest and stuff like that. So
Kaifa's Quest was one of the most difficult ones, because you had to get the timing perfect. Throughout.
That's the one where you
and it was over all 3 days.
Yeah,
it was over all 3 days. Kaifa's Quest to get that mask was over the entirety of the 3 days. Most of them only take a day. Or the Frog Mask. The Frog Mask is a terrible one, because you have to go back in time you don't have to go back in time multiple times. Technically you do, because you got to get other masks so you can actually do the frog mask, but there's like 12 frogs you got to get to and save and stuff like this. And
at least with a Kaifa's Quest, you got like a really good payoff at the end with like the really sad, like they hold hands as the moon's about to crush them and they all die.
Yeah. Oh man,
Legend of Zelda, everybody.
Yeah, Majora's Mask has to be the saddest of all the Legend of Zelda games.
Oh yeah, it's the darkest Legend of Zelda game, and it was
I don't care what those werewolf lovers of Twilight Princess say.
It's always funny when people are like Twilight Princess, because it tried so hard to be dark, it comes off as like really campy to me.
Yeah,
but like
Majora's Mask didn't really try to be dark. They still kept with the same, cartoonish and childish style of Ocarina of Time, but the story.
Yeah, they just wanted to be like really kind of like different with it. They wanted to try something different. I think what really let me know that this was going to be like a lot darker of a Zelda game is where whenever you use the Song of Healing on a dead person to get their, it turns them into a mask that allows you to transform.
Yeah,
into...
the very first one, the Zora, when you get the Zora mask.
You're using the Song of Healing to not heal them, but to basically
kill them faster.
You kill them and turn their soul into a mask so that you can turn into them instead.
Yeah.
And then whenever you put on the mask, it like the mask starts to like become morphed and like it looks like it's in pain.
Yeah,
and like you make this screaming
sound. You go through pain every time you put on that mask.
It's like whoa, and like every time you can skip it, but like it's still every time you put on a mask, you're like screaming in pain. Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm the Goron chieftain now. Hello.
Yeah. Oh man, the Goron chieftain story was sad. It made me cry every time. Like every time I play through that storyline, I cry.
Yeah, they were all pretty sad. They all had good little stories.
The Zora one was sad, but to me the Goron one was the saddest, just because he was the chieftain. His granddaughter loved him so much, and he played that lullaby to put her to sleep, and then the very last thing you see is like him fading off into the distance, and hear that lullaby, and the little girl's crying, and so sad. Am I the only one?
Yeah, I agree with you. It was really sad. Drew, what do you think of the Majora's Mask?
I've seen a Let's Play of it, but I did watch a Let's Play of it, so I could follow like some of what you guys are saying.
Did you watch like Sugar Conroy or whatever?
Yeah, I watched Sugar Conroy's Let's Play of it. That's right.
Man.
So from what I remember from watching his Let's Play of it is, you're basically never Link himself. You're always either the Zora, the Goron, or the Deku.
No, you're Link a lot.
Yeah, you're Link a lot, because you can't.
Oh.
You can't.
I thought you were one of those three at any time.
No, they're used like items to get you through puzzles.
Yeah.
Oh well, he uses them a lot. Like he stays in the forms like throughout the entire dungeon.
Well, it's because Zora Link is badass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Zora Link and the swimming. Oh man.
Now,
that was the most beautiful addition to any Legend of Zelda game ever.
Let's be
able
honest.
to swim fast.
Let's be honest, though. The swimming still was shit in Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, you can hardly control it.
N64 game, right? Like the combination of the graphics and the controller.
The camera. That's what the big issue was. The camera.
Yeah, that's the main issue with Super Mario 64 too. Is the camera.
They had a hard time back then.
That game.
That's because you don't have another stick to help control the camera.
Yeah, it's weird. But
that's why PlayStation
so it is
and
the
Xbox
same.
stayed superior for so long.
Okay, my question is it the same Link from Ocarina of Time? It is,
no,
isn't it? No, it's not. I thought it was the same one.
I get to. All right, we got 5 minutes. I think I can condense this down into 5 minutes.
Okay, well, before you start, I just wanted to ask that because I've heard that the conspiracy theory that Link is dead the whole time in Majora's Mask, and I was thinking, did he actually die in the timeline of Ocarina of Time, and then Majora's Mask is his like nightmare reoccurring? Because that would be pretty metal.
No, kind of. All right, so the Legend of Zelda timeline is really confusing, and Nintendo released an official one. I even question it because I've played 90% of the Legend of Zelda games, and
I've looked through it.
Based on positions and stories and stuff, I don't believe all of it, but the main thing is that it goes all the way up until like it starts with Skyward Sword, and then
I knew that was the very beginning, no matter what, right?
Yeah, and then and then it goes up to Ocarina of Time, and Ocarina of Time is where it splits into 3 other timelines.
Okay, depending on whether or not Link was successful. Yeah, that's the whole gist, right?
The hero wins.
Yeah.
The hero loses, and the hero dies.
If the hero dies, does he die successfully? Is that the idea? Like,
I can't remember it specifically.
It's either wins or dies, or wins or loses or dies. But if he dies, somebody's got to win, unless both he and Ganon die.
I thought how it worked was what's it called? Majora's Mask was after Ocarina of Time, after he beats Ganon, but then he's like, I want a childhood, so he goes back in time so he can be a kid again.
Yeah.
And then
one is adult Link, and 2 are from Child Link, I think.
Yeah, and he leaves Hyrule, and he's like going through the Lost Woods, and he makes it to whatever the town is in Majora's Mask, and that's what starts that. But then like there's a time
Clock Town, right?
Yeah, Clock Town. But then there's a timeline where he can get lost in the Lost Woods going to Clock Town, and he dies, and then he becomes the skeleton trainer in Twilight Princess that teaches Link all of his moves because he died in the Lost Woods.
Yeah. So, all right.
Something like that. I can't quite remember, but I think it was something like that.
Okay, so here's a quick breakdown of the timeline. I actually went ahead and looked it up and blah, blah, blah. So it starts with Skyward Sword. That's where Hylia is created. Then the Minish Cap. That's where we meet Vati.
We get the hat.
Yeah, and I love Minish Cap. Minish Cap and Link's Awakening are my 2 favorite Legend of Zelda games. If you haven't played them, you need to, because they're
also
beautiful.
seen a Let's Play of Link's Awakening.
Oh my gosh, Drew, why don't you just play it yourself?
I like Let's Plays, man. They're entertaining.
Plus, Link's Awakening isn't even that long. Link's Awakening is very short. Minish Cap, however, is a little longer.
There's no way you're going to be able to explain this in 2 minutes.
No, I'll get to it. So, and then there's 4 swords. Never played 4 swords. No clue what it's about. But apparently Vati is resurrected.
There's 4 swords. That's what it's about.
There's 4 swords. There's 4 Links. Then we go to Ocarina of Time, and this is where we find out we introduce Ganondorf and turning into Demon King Ganon, which we know as the Pig Demon later on, when the hero is defeated and Ganon is successful in taking over the world. And so after that, he's sealed off, and that's where we get Link to the Past, Oracle Seasons, and Link's Awakening, and the very first 2 Legend of Zeldas we see, which were actually pretty far along in the timeline. Those are actually like the latest in the timeline. Now, my problem with Link's Awakening is after the hero's successful and he goes off as the adult after Ganondorf is sealed, blah blah blah. We come to the Wind Waker, which is later on. And this is why I have a problem with Link's Awakening being in the heroes defeated line, because in Link's Awakening he is washed up on an island in the middle of the ocean, and the rest of them, there's not the entire world isn't as an oceanic world. However, in the Wind Waker, the entirety of Hylia and most of the world has been flooded. And same thing in Phantom Hourglass, blah blah blah. So that's why I think Link's Awakening should be over there. And then here's successful child, like Logan said. I guess Link is the same one as Majora's Mask in Ocarina of Time.
That's what. That's what I've been told. I've been told that before. Yeah. So okay. So remembering.
That is the same one. Him just going off and being a butthead.
Yeah, he just goes back in time because he's like my childhood.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that timeline Nintendo put together, I think they just kind of pulled it out of their ass because so many people were asking them to do it, and they were just like, fine, here. Yeah. Here's our official timeline, and they just probably did it in an afternoon just to appease everybody.
Sure, some of it makes sense, but like a lot of it is out of order to me.
Yeah. But I mean, what else are we gonna go by? I feel like that's our only option, is just to roll with what they say.
Make our own.
You can do that if you want.
That was my haphazard, whatever explanation of the Legend of Zelda timeline. It's actually very complicated, and still being discussed to this day.
To end on a positive note, Link can finally jump after all these timelines and all these years.
Oh, I wonder where that one's going to be in the timeline.
Yeah,
it looks like it's really far in the future. Like everything looks dilapidated and in ruins and stuff like that.
So basically, after the original NES game, since the last time I checked, the NES games are like at the end of one of the timelines.
I want to say it's it's going to to be after the NES games. Yeah,
okay. I'm going to say it's
after Adventures of Link, which was Legend of Zelda 2.
Right, it's after one of the. I think those are in the Hero Fails.
Yes.
Someone
the heroes defeated and Ganon rules the world.
I saw someone made a funny joke about it because they kept showing footage of him burning all the fields and stuff like that. that Link in this one was actually going to be the great evil, and that in order to stop him, the goddesses flooded the world, and then it became Wind Waker.
I mean, whatever works, man.
It's like we have to stop the world from being caught on fire, so flood the whole world.
That's some Pokemon's Ruby and Sapphire stuff. Oh no, never mind. Pokemon Sapphire was just
we'll leave that for another day.
Never mind. I was about to go off on another big tangent there.
Yeah, we're already a little over our time, so
I just want to say one thing real quick.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Warcraft the movie. There we go. We talked about it.
What? We don't have to talk about everything.
I know. I'm just messing. I know.
Golly. What do you think this is? E equals MC squared?
That is a film that exists. There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
Warcraft exists.
All right. So, thank you folks for listening. The 12 listeners we have. Whatever. Anyways, this has been Colton, Drew. Say bye, Drew.
Bye.
What? That was so weak.
Bye.
And our wonderful guest, which he is who he is. Say bye.
That's like the worst way to outro somebody.
What's it called? As I say bye, I want to say I figured out a politically correct term for goblin body.
Okay. That is a good way to end the show, actually.
Yes.
What's it called? We could call them P-bodies, like the robot from Portal 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say, you know what? As part of the group, you have ultimate authority on what's offensive and what isn't. So if you think that is good, then that's what we'll go with.
Yeah, like that helps me.
I feel like it's still going to be offensive, even though because it's Logan.
That's okay. We'll roll with it anyway.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'll offend you later, guys.
Yeah. Catch y'all next time.